Hello, in this tutorial we're going to focus on archive and restoring, and specifically the changes that have occurred in versions 2.2 and 2.3. Let's start with iCloud Drive because this is the biggest change in the 2.3 version. As you can see on the home screen here, we have a number of new icons and changes to the layout of the screen. So let's imagine we want to archive this show here called Scott Demo. Then I simply select that show. I then simply hit the Upload to Cloud button, and then the show with all its audio will get zipped into an archive and transferred into iCloud Drive. And you will see it appear over on the left-hand panel. Now, the big new feature in 2.3 is that we fully support Archive Drive now, and so you can even find it on your Mac. So if you go to the iCloud Drive folder on your Mac, as soon as you run the new version, you will see, as if by magic, an FX Live folder has appeared, and all of your shows that you've archived will be in there, and you can then simply drag those off, stick them on your hard drive somewhere else. You can transfer them to somebody else's computer and then reverse the process, and then you can pull something down onto a different device. So just to show you how that will work, I'm now going to transfer a show here on my Mac and drop it into my FX Live folder, and then within a few seconds you will see that appear in your iCloud Drive panel on the home screen. There we go. And notice that it is a pale grey, and that's because it's not currently available on the device, and so you couldn't immediately use it. So the first thing you need to do is select that show and then click on the Download from Cloud button, and then what that will do is transfer the show from the cloud onto your device. And the length of time that takes will depend on the speed of your broadband, and also obviously how complex the show is, how many audio files, and therefore. And you can see a progress bar at the bottom of the screen there, showing me that that operation is carrying on. Obviously I can carry on using the application while that carries on downloading in the background. But within a few minutes in this case, you'll see it's completed that, and then once that operation is completed, it will no longer be greyed out, and one of the other icons now becomes available to you. There we go. So that's now available locally on my device. So if I click on it, you can see the copy to device icon is now available, and this has changed from the previous version. This used to be an unzip icon. We've now made it more generic for reasons you'll see in a minute. So I just click on the import. It'll ask me if I want to restore that archive. I simply hit restore, and then it will unzip and copy into my installed shows panel that particular show, and so I'll then be able to find it on my local machine and use it. Okay. Now you'll notice there's another panel has appeared under iCloud Drive, and that is the audio panel, and that is now a copy of any audio files you've dragged into your iCloud Drive on your Mac. So this is now another new way of getting audio into your shows. So to show you how this would work, on my Mac I am going to copy a new file, drop it into my FX Live folder in my iCloud Drive, and once it's uploaded into the cloud, a few minutes later you should see it then appear in the audio section on the application. So it's now uploaded into the cloud, and so what should happen is exactly the same as with archives. I should see that piece of audio appear in my audio panel. There we go. and again it's grayed out, showing me that it's only currently in the cloud. So I would need to click on it, hit download from cloud, and again same process will happen as with the archives. That file will get copied locally a lot quicker this time because the files are quite small. And now once that's copied locally, I can click on it and then use the import icon to import that into my show. So now if I go into sound design, new audio file, it was called orchestral, then I'm going to find that piece there and I can use that within my show. So that's a very, very easy way of getting audio, especially multiple audio files, into your show at the same time. And you could actually now delete them from the cloud because you've imported that into the show. You don't need to leave it on the cloud. If you wanted to free up some space, you could delete that. And if you delete it from the cloud on your Mac, it will also get removed from any of the devices you have attached to that account. So that was iCloud Drive. Obviously we have a couple of other icons. We have Dropbox and Google Drive. Basically they work the same way as far as archives are concerned. The only difference is you don't see anything happen on the screen because that happens in the background. So if I wanted to archive that show to Google Drive, I simply press the Send to Google Drive button, and then in the background that show will get transferred into my Google Drive account, and depending on how long the file is and what my speed of my connection is, it will appear in my Google Drive at some point later. And it does take quite a while. The same is true for Dropbox. Click on it, and in fact in that case we've got an error because I haven't linked myself to my Dropbox account. So I need to go to settings, click on link to Dropbox, fill in my details, allow access, and then we go back to the application, and you see I've received a message there from Google Drive to say the file has been saved. That's something you get from Google Drive. We don't get that from Dropbox, but what I can do is just now hit the Dropbox icon and it will now in the background transfer to Dropbox, and I would find that in my applications folder in Dropbox inside a folder called FX Live, which will have been created automatically. The other thing we can do with Google Drive is we can import audio from Google Drive straight into the application. So again, when I'm in the design screen, if I'm adding a new audio file, you can see I have a Google Drive button here. If I press that, then it will search my Google Drive. It will find any audio files it can in any folder, and then I can simply pick the one I want and import it into the show. And again, that's the point it will download from the drive, from the cloud, and copy it into my local show. So I found Google Drive quite an easy and fast way of getting content from my master effects library into specific shows I'm working on. So there we go. That sort of covers most of the topics on archiving that I wanted to do. Thank you all for your positive comments. If you've got any further questions, please don't hesitate to drop me an email or use Facebook to comment and ask questions. Thank you very much.